Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
I am Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Animal World.
My God, did we?
I prefer to think of this as a life-changing opportunity. The countdown begins now.
So before we start, this is one of them episodes that was given to us by a Patreon subscriber, Andrew McGuire. Who has informed me that it's his birthday coming up. So happy birthday,
right.
Andrew.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, Andrew was responsible for was it Iga, the fly
Iga.
one, and Branded. And now he suggested, he demanded Animal World, which is available.
Suggested is a very gentle term for what it actually is. Required us to watch.
This is available on Netflix. So it's free to watch currently.
No, you pay your Netflix subscription.
Yeah,
and you may watch it. It is not free.
Yeah, it feels free now.
Yeah,
I'm terrible with money, Tom. Tom, what did you think of Animal World?
I hated every second of it.
Wow. Okay, I'm very excited about this.
It was a movie that refused to end.
I enjoyed this movie, Tom. Well, okay.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Well, here's my argument for the movie. Actually,
sure.
It's a really good movie trapped in a lot of unnecessary bullshit. In that, for people listening, so I did like it, but I know why. Like, I don't think you're crazy for hating it, is what I'm getting at here.
I'm very curious to hear what you think the very good movie hiding inside this film is.
Okay, well, for people wondering, this movie is about a guy who gets...
Oh, yes. Please explain what this movie is about.
Well, no, the core premise is simple. It's about a guy who's kidnapped by Michael Douglas and put into tremendous debt. And he is forced...
Reverse order. He's put into tremendous debt at the hands of Michael Douglas.
At the hand of Michael Douglas, who then kidnaps him and forces him into a tournament that is a tournament where a bunch of people play rock, paper, scissors in a casino setting while rich people watch. It's extremely derivative in the broad premise. Of the idea of it's like people compete battle royale style, and if you're given a set amount of cards and you have stars, and the idea is you have to win by in 4 hours, you have to have no cards anymore and all of your stars still, and every time you lose you have to give your star to someone else. And if you lose, if you end the game without any stars and with excess cards or not meeting those requirements, you are hauled off to an unimaginable fate, which they demonstrate by shooting someone in the head on the floor.
Michael Douglas shoots that guy for breaking the rules.
For cheating, yeah. Cheating's technically are allowed, but...
the guy flushes 3 cards down the toilet, which fucks with the statistics,
right.
So Michael Douglas killed him. If you lose, you get hauled off. Basically, they drag you to an organ farm.
Yes. And yeah, you can also, if you have excess stars, you can either use those stars at the end to rescue someone from the organ farm, or you can... just sell the stars for a lot of money
to try to pay off your debt. Like
right.
he traps people with unimaginable debt.
Right. And
basically.
That's the Animal World, is this world of people desperately trying to get ahead by tricking each other and turning on each other. And there's a chunk of the movie devoted to this main character trying to win or deal with this tournament while dealing with very manipulative other players, while he's just trying to use math to figure out
he's card counting.
Card counting. That, Tom, I think is the really good premise. What
I disagree.
I haven't mentioned. Oh, okay.
I disagree, but go ahead. Finish
Well, what
your
I
thought.
haven't mentioned is the clown stuff, which is incredibly unnecessary.
Yeah. The movie begins with our hero explaining that he's crazy. He's been crazy since he was a kid.
He's a real edgelord.
Yeah, he's such an edgelord.
Yeah.
He's not even like, he throws that term around. It's like, I'm still crazy. It's like, no, you're not. You just daydream about being a clown and cutting monsters apart on a subway. We see
Right.
the same fantasy sequence of him as a clown cutting apart monsters on a subway car the entire film.
Yes, and people turn into CGI monsters, and
At random for seemingly no reason.
yeah, I gotta say, I don't understand why that happened. Here, I have one guess. Mm-hmm. My one guess is that this director really wants to direct a Marvel movie, because all of those sequences felt like it was on an audition for a Marvel movie, because visually that shit looked good.
It looked all right.
Yeah, okay. I'll go, yeah, all right. I like the beginning
all
credit
right.
sequence a lot, of going through the boat.
Yeah.
And there was a lot like that going through the boat stuff. I was like, oh, this person could direct an Ant-Man. And like the car chase.
Michael Douglas is in it, yeah.
Yeah, the car chase. Yeah, maybe that's why he got Michael Douglas.
Maybe.
The car chase looked okay, but the twist every time is this is just a fantasy in his head that ultimately doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't matter at all, and it adds about 30 minutes to the movie's runtime.
Yes. So that's my proposal: is cut all of that out.
The only one of them that pays off is when he fantasizes about the car chase, and then it zooms back to him, and he's like, all right, I'm going to try it. And we see like the
Yes.
beginning of it play out, and then he just immediately gets tranked.
Yeah, that is
It's
pretty
kind of
good.
funny.
Yeah,
It was a nice payoff.
yeah.
I'm going to argue that the card counting portion of the movie isn't even good because I don't have a head for that. Like partway through the movie, I literally said to myself, I said, I bet Dave's fucking loving this shit.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It lost me. Like, it got to the point where it's like every time he would stop the movie and explain to us exactly how he was counting and what he had it was like Columbo.
Oh, yeah,
where he
yeah,
would
yeah.
be like, it's very anime, and I think this movie is based on an anime.
yeah.
Because he would frequently stop the action and explain how he had outsmarted the person he just played, and like all of the card counting statistics that went into it. I
Right.
never understood. Like, I would get lost 5 seconds into it, and I never understood what the fuck he was talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like every time that happened, which was a lot, I just started reading something on my phone, and I didn't look up until he was through explaining that, and then the movie could advance.
I mean, that's a good point. I would cut that down by like 50%, because some of the times they did it for things that I'm like, oh no, I get it, and then it keeps going, and it was like, no, you don't have to explain this much. Other times, yeah, I'm not a math folk.
Right. It got so dense in some
mathman.
parts where it's like, I don't need to know any of this.
Well, I would have appreciated actually longer and clearer in some points, because I actually think some of that shit, for me, who's not a mathman,
not a mathman.
yeah. Like,
I'm not a
if they-
mathematologist.
Thank you. If they were like in The Big Short,
I'm not a math dentist.
math dentist, like in The Big Short, where they break it down, where they're like, okay,
I didn't see it.
you didn't see The Big Short?
I didn't. I saw Vice.
No, see The Big Short. I didn't see Vice. So between us, we've seen it. We've seen it
Right.
all.
So, like, I mean, Vice could have been called "Stop It, Adam McKay."
Really? I like The Big Short a lot. I haven't seen.
It could have been called "That's Enough, Adam McKay."
Oh. Vice I really enjoyed. Or not Vice, sorry, The Big Short. Because one of the things they do is they're kind of like, okay, dummy, here's what's going on. And they do a good job at explaining to me, the dummy, like what I need to know. And I feel like this movie actually could have had a little more of that at times, where they're like, okay, now here's what's happening. We're actually going to spend like a good amount of time breaking this down, because I found that shit fascinating. But it's that, plus I really liked the dynamics between the characters, the betrayal, the way people are trying to fuck each other over, the fact that he's trying to count the cards and then other people are trying to count the cards against him and they have to go back and forth. The first guy he meets, who gets established kind of as the villain, who uses like social means to trick people. Like the first thing he does is he tells the guy he meets with our main character and he's like, look, why don't me and you, if we just tie a bunch, we can get rid of our cards and then we'll have our 3 stars, so let's just work together. And then he starts by doing that and then he fucks him over and pretends it was a mistake and then he fucks him over again. Yeah, and
he was solid.
Yeah, and he was a solid villain because then later he's like still manipulating everybody and he tries to buy the rest of his cards off for his star and for a star. And what's happened at this point is our main character is now aligned with 2 other people, so they no longer just need 3 stars, they need 9 stars. And so there's the idea is him rejecting the idea of everybody for themselves, where he's like, no, we're all going to get these stars together. And this guy offers him a star, and he's like, look, give me your cards, take the star, and you can leave. And he refuses him. So the guy like creates an uproar where he's like, everybody knows what everybody else has for cards at this point because it's like down to like an hour or 45 minutes left. So he's like, I say we all shuffle the cards. And he completely fucks up the card counting that way. Like, I thought there was some really good moments like that with the villain and with establishing the arcs of the characters and the idea of like, no, it's not everybody for themselves. I'm going to fucking help my friends. Like, I liked all of those themes.
Right.
But this movie also had clowns in it.
Right, it had clowns and monsters, and then also, like, we're not really clear on what the stakes are until pretty late in the game, and then, like, it just sort of ends.
Right, it becomes... That's the weirdest
everybody
fucking part.
Goes home.
Yeah, because they keep saying everybody is going to the next floor. And I thought, like, oh, is that a whole other event? And no, it's not. At the end, they just kind of park the boat and everybody gets off. There's a lot of mythology.
Even like the bad guys and like the people who lost, they all just get to leave.
Right. Not the people
who lost. What the fuck was the point of this?
Well, there's people who stay behind and get their organs farmed, right?
Only a few, and we didn't meet any of them until our hero gets intentionally thrown in the brig and then saves one of them. But so like we only really meet like 2 of them, and one of them's a big piece of shit.
Right. There's an insane mythology at work that they do not explain ever, because he goes in the back into the holding spa for the people farm, and there's a guy back there who's like smuggling diamonds.
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck is happening? That is the weirdest subplot. It was like
he like taped a bunch of diamonds to his back to guarantee that his friends would bail him out.
Oh, okay, that's the idea.
Yeah,
because he does say that is that if you have to have something of worth so that people can value you out at the end, and of course that's the turn.
That they'll do what they say. Because that's what happens to him is he jumps on the grenade and then the agreement is like, okay, you guys buy me out, and then one of the guys rolls on him because he was evil the whole time, and then his childhood friend Big Shrimp also rolls on him. So it's like, what the fuck, man? Because it's just so much money that they can't turn their backs on it. So the shitty guy tells him, look, you gotta come in here with some kind of collateral. And reveals that he had a bunch of diamonds taped to his back.
Right. And so, okay, that actually makes sense. The delivery was terrible. But the idea that like, okay, we're only like, you think your friends are close, but the moment they're offered millions of dollars.
Yeah. They won't bail you out.
Yeah, exactly. The diamonds was a weird way of doing it, I guess.
It was just,
but there's also mythology because there's people who are like, this is my 3rd year, this is my 4th year, and it's like, are you guys willingly coming back, or are you getting kidnapped? It seems like they're getting kidnapped every year, but then if that's the case, somebody call the police.
They just keep borrowing money from Michael Douglas.
Oh, right, they're in a debt hole.
Yeah. They're all these guys owe him money. That's why they're all frantically. So, like he and Big Shrimp owe something like $8 million, something like that.
Okay, yeah. I have, okay. A few notes. They should have just made this. Did you just roll dice?
No, I dropped something.
Okay. I thought you were like deciding my fate.
No, I've already decided.
All right, that's fair.
I didn't need to roll.
Make this movie stupidly dystopian. I would argue against that because I don't think dystopian films, they tend to annoy me when they're too dumb. But like Battle Royale, for example, knew that its dystopian was dumb, so they spent very little time establishing it.
Right. It doesn't
It's just
make any sense.
No, but it doesn't matter because they're just like, look, they're on the island, they're fighting, we're going to get you right into this.
Yeah.
And they do everything they can with that premise from the start, and it's fascinating to watch. Unlike something like the Hunger Games, where they keep like going into the mythology of the world, and the more they show you the world, it doesn't
the more
make
you
any
get
sense.
into it, like the more it falls apart. Yeah, it's like this does not make sense.
Yeah. So you could literally begin with like this person as a kid with their family getting killed by the thought police, and his dad's a mathematician, and then cut to him like living on the streets, and he gets arrested, and they haul him off to the boat, and they're just like, damn, we're on the boat. And
I guess, or he's just in debt. I mean, I don't know.
Or he's just on debt. I'm just saying, get to the boat quicker.
Get to the boat faster. Change the games up. Like, what I kept thinking of when I was watching this was there's an anime series called Kakegurui, which is about like a boarding school or a private school that's... the whole point of it is just all of the student. It's like this gambling hierarchy, and it's all based on gambling. And like each episode is a different game that they're playing, and it's very similar in that like you have a main character who like examines all sides of the game and like determines, well, this is the way I'm gonna win, and I'm basing it on like the deductions I can make about my opponent and what choices they're gonna make and whatever.
Right.
But the show manages to stay interesting, even though it's basically doing the same thing every episode by having the games change every episode. So by having it be the same rock, paper, scissors game for 2 hours, I was like, holy shit, guys.
I see your complaint, but I don't know why, but I could have watched a whole show about rock, paper, scissors. I don't know why. I think the reason why is because the rock, paper, scissors was neat, the card counting was neat, but what I really enjoyed was just them trying to figure it all out, and the different ways various people were cheating or trying to get an advantage.
And that's Kakegurui deals with that a lot too. So I guess there was enough material surrounding this game. I
get what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
Is that I could see other games being interesting as well. I could see this being a series where it's the different floors are different games.
Right.
Or yes, they could, like, I don't know, because if they had spent only like 15, 20 minutes on the card counting and the rock, paper, scissors, I feel like I wouldn't have appreciated it as much because I wouldn't have understood it as much. So yeah, like maybe an hour, like if this was a TV series like what you're describing,
yeah, and
one episode was rock, paper, scissors, and that was like an hour, I could see that working. But for this, like, I'm trying to figure out the clown stuff. I think,
yeah, and it's like it's weird. Like the opening 25 minutes really paints him like a scumbag.
I was about to say one of the first things he does is beat up a man in a hospital bed, and it was like, oh, I don't like this guy at all. I never liked him, but once he just became math guy, it was like, all right, he's kind of like a blank slate. I forgot everything before that, basically.
Well, he becomes a completely different character when they get on the boat.
Yeah.
Like then he's like noble and a team player, and he's like, no, we're all in this together. We're all going to get out of this together, because he ends up saving everyone on the boat. Almost.
Yeah. I think.
But like when he's not in the beginning, he's a fucking sex pest.
Yeah, I think they missed the arc, because all right, here's my theory, and it's a flimsy theory on the clown stuff. is I think the idea might be that he is supposed to be an edgelord, that we're not supposed to like him, and that the clown, like the Joker, people who fantasize about the Joker, but it's like a literal clown, so it's like you see him as a clown. It's just like this isn't cool. Like you're literally just a bozo the clown, and I think that was on purpose. And the idea is he keeps imagining these elaborate action fantasies and shit for himself, and that everybody is a monster. And I think the arc that doesn't happen, that maybe they were setting up that could have, and maybe if this was based off an anime it was more clear, is that once he gets to Animal World, he is faced with people like that who are assholes. And the realization is like, oh yeah, we're all like these badasses, and it's everybody for himself. And he learns like, no, that's I don't want to be a clown anymore. I just want to help people out. That's the best. Mind you, I'm doing a lot of work for the movie.
You're doing a lot of heavy lifting for this.
No, but that's the best I can get from why the clown stuff matters in this movie. Because it really doesn't. Like, this movie has it's got a lot of fat to trim.
Yeah. And I think that's why I super didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. The moment they got on the boat.
Yeah.
The moment because if you watch the trailer, by the way, the trailer gives you mostly...
we watched the trailer on Hypecast.
They give you some of the clown stuff, but they mostly give you the Michael Douglas, like, tournament stuff. And so I feel like even the people who knew the trailer knew, like, that is what the movie is about. Everything about it is that. The clown stuff is such a distraction.
Yeah, it has... I remember us not being able to decipher what this trailer was. It's like he's killing monsters on a subway, and then there's Michael Douglas, and now there's a tiger in a cage.
Right. Yeah, I liked the tiger in the cage the whole time. That was neat. I like the sets. I like the look of everything.
Yeah. It's a good looking movie.
Like this, again, this director has a good eye. It's just, it was like he had two movie ideas, and someone told him you can only make one movie. And he was like, shit, I better put it all in this one.
Yeah, I got to get it all in there.
Like, I do encourage people to watch this movie, but maybe skip around. I want people to experience that confusion.
Yeah, I feel like there are long stretches where you could skip.
Yeah. And then the stuff with his mom, I mean, I get that because that's what puts him in debt. Yeah. The idea is his mom's in a coma at the beginning, and there's a nurse that he seems to have... See, he was a sex pest. I assumed by the end that they were in a relationship or something like that, because the whole thing is like...
Based on what?
Because she's mad at him for not...
She never behaves like she likes him.
Well, the conflict seems to be... At least what she says to him, or she says to someone else, is that he's not going to marry her because he doesn't think he's worth it. And so that's the conflict, which implies that she wants him to marry her, like, from the start. Like, they had some sort of relationship. Or they're currently having one.
It's impossible to tell.
It's unclear. All I know is that there's the conflict between him and her is that he's a fucking pest, but then she also wants him to marry her. So I think what we're supposed to be watching is like a playful relationship, like a teasing relationship.
That does not come across.
No, I agree. It does not come across, but it does explain a lot, like how he can wail on a guy in a hospital bed and she still be cool with him. Like, I think they're dating. That's the only thing. I mean, that makes the most sense only because of her doing the marriage stuff. I assume they're in some sort of relationship. I don't know why the hospital let him stay in the hospital after he wailed on a guy.
After he had just straight up beasted a man that was in a bed. Defenseless man in a hospital bed.
Right. For just being like a pervert, which again explains why he would do that more if they're in a relationship. It's still still makes him a complete madman.
Well, yeah, and it made sense when it happens in the movie because we got all that clown stuff and about him being like, yeah, I'm crazy, and then I fantasize that people are monsters and shit. So it's like, oh, this guy is like Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love.
Right. Which,
but then as soon as he gets on the ship, he's a totally different character.
Right, and they added in a little bit, like they at the final match, the guy turns into a monster, and he beats him like with his mind, basically. But
Yeah.
something feels like they cut something out or something, where like
I don't know.
where the idea was that beast, the clown, does something to save him. Because if you remember in the beginning credits, which I liked, it's going throughout the boat, and it's violence. There's like an uprising of some sort happening on the boat, right? Like there was like
no, it's showing us the future.
right.
'cause
I
one of
thought there was like maybe I missed that.
I don't know. Maybe I know one of the shots they show us is him wailing on the dude who's literally named Fatty Mang.
Oh, you're right. Maybe that's why I interpreted it as
Yeah,
like, oh, these people are
the chubby trader.
Yeah, the chubby trader.
Just him full on belting him in the mouth.
Right. Who is it's a good predatory character, which is that they basically help him along the whole time, thinking he's someone he's not, and then at the last minute, he betrays him. He's Topher Grace in Predators.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Because I guess what I was thinking is that they cut out some parts that would have explained the arc of the clown stuff, because there's a lot of voiceover and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if they had to like make it work. If like they had all this clown shit, they had all the Animal World shit. Like it really feels like two different movies that they like pasted together. But my guess is that it was maybe a longer or like more artsy or like a dumber premise that was way more complicated, that they had to like use voiceover and like weird like the card sequence where he turns into the monster. Like they had to try to find some way to give the clown stuff an arc, but it didn't really work.
No, it doesn't go anywhere.
No, it really doesn't. Could cut all of that out.
Yeah, just get all of that out of here.
Again,
Get out.
It was so much like I like the style, but the style was the problem for me, at least, with the movie.
Yeah, it was. Man, it just didn't. It was such an odd style for this. It's like picture.
Yeah, I was trying to think of how to describe it. Like
it's at the tip of my brain. Picture the movie Rounders, but done like The Fountain.
Yeah, or like like Rounders if like every once in a while he goes into fantasies about being like a butterfly
and like battling people in Butterfly World.
Yes. And it doesn't pay off. That's the key. It does not ever
it doesn't have anything to do with anything.
It is jarring. And again, this movie is about 2 hours and 11 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it's over 2 hours long.
So this wasn't a movie where it was like, oh, they needed it for time. No, they could have cut it all out and had like a 90-minute movie that I think, Tom, you would have liked it more because
I would have enjoyed it better for sure.
Yeah, because you might not have even liked it as much as me, but like this movie was definitely me glossing like the first half hour until he got on the boat. I was in a situation where I was like, if this is going to be the movie, I'm in trouble. Like, I don't like this guy. Like, it looks good, but I was, like, during that car chase, I was checking my phone. Like, I had to rewind it a couple times to be like, oh, shit, did I miss something? Mm-hmm. The moment they got to that boat and started doing the card shit, my phone went down. I was watching intently.
It just captivated you.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I loved it. I love that shit. And again, it's also I think I like gambling. Gambling's fun.
Yeah.
The weird.
I mean, yeah. It's just it didn't. Man, it really needed to pay off, and it just doesn't.
It definitely doesn't pay off because,
like any part of it.
That's the thing. They could have taken away that half hour of clowning. Mm-hmm. And they could have replaced it with a half hour of murdering Michael Douglas,
or some kind of payoff.
Or
instead,
some
they all just kind of leave. The boat just parks and everybody goes home.
Yes, which again,
and he just pays off his debt. I'm like, what was the point of this?
Yeah. Well, I get it because it's again. lopping off the beginning and end, there's an arc between the characters in the animal world.
Mm-hmm.
It just, the beginning and end, like, a version where they could have just parked and left would have been for me is if, like, the characters before and after were like businessmen and fairly meek and not maniacs. Mm-hmm. And then they get thrown into animal world and they, like, completely change and everything goes fucking haywire and there's betrayal. And then at the end, Michael Douglas is like, all right, you guys can go. And, like, they're all quietly leaving, like, a walk of shame from the boat, having learned completely new shit about each other. You know what I mean? Because, like, his friend who betrayed him and stuff, like, walking off and he has the black eye and they, like, have to kind of go on with their lives. Like, I can see that being very effective, but the movie isn't effective enough, or isn't, the beginning and end isn't. It just isn't that, I guess.
I like the idea of Michael Douglas being one of those YouTube queefs that's just like, this is a social experiment.
Right. I love Michael Douglas in this. I mean, there's not much of him.
Same.
But he's doing the best he can.
It's like, what the hell is he doing in this movie?
I think I know exactly what he's doing in this movie.
Well, yeah, he's getting paid.
He's getting paid.
Yeah.
He got paid well enough. It's like, there's a bunch of, like, I love this about overseas films. Like, I know Paul Rudd's been in a few, like, random Korean action movies and stuff like that, where, like, there's this whole genre that we don't know about of famous Hollywood actors who are just quietly getting a paycheck to go do movies overseas. And that doesn't mean the movies are bad, but it's clearly, like, they don't, like, Michael Douglas showed up on set to this and he's just like, okay, what am I doing? All right, I'm saying these lines. Okay, I'll do it. And he's a great actor, so he can pull it off.
Right, and it's fine.
Yeah, and he's just looking around the set and just like, all right, I guess, is this what, rock, paper, scissors you said? I'm explaining rock. Okay, sure. Not going to ask any questions. You've paid me. You've flown me here. I'm here for a day and a half.
I'm staying in a very nice hotel.
Yeah. And he does great. He does a great job. Is he ever in, like, scenes with the other actors?
No.
He has his own crew around him. But yeah. I don't think he's ever in shots with the other main lead actors. Oh, wait, no, the scene where he explains the debt. Well, the first scene.
Yeah, but he's just with that one main actor and his weird eyebrowless henchman.
Yeah, he has, I think, 2 locations. He is in his office, and he is in the main lobby, the main gaming room. I think we see him get off the boat at the end, but that's probably a green screen. I mean, most of this could have been a green screen for all we know. They could have green screened Michael Douglas into this movie.
He really could have. He's that's it. He's in that opening, like the fucking Billy Baldwin sliver room in the beginning, and then he's in his balcony office in the ship, and that's pretty much it. And then he's in the hospital at the very end.
Is he?
Yeah, there's a post-credit sequence.
Shit, I missed what's the post-credits, Tom? What's the post-credit sequence?
Our hero wakes up in the hospital and rushes downstairs and realizes that eyebrowless henchman is there and Michael Douglas is there as well. And then he flashes back and realizes that his father disappeared because Michael Douglas showed up and dragged him off.
So he brought his father to the boat, to the rock, paper, scissors boat? Mm-hmm. That changes everything.
It does.
So there's going to be a sequel for sure.
Oh, almost certainly, right?
I'm excited. See, this person wants to do a Marvel movie. This director, he has post-credit scenes.
Right, it was essentially Michael Douglas showing up to tell him about the Avengers Initiative.
Yeah, I think so. And again, it wasn't original in any way, the fighting clown shit. But watching it, I was like, yeah, this guy could do Avengers.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, visually. I don't know about like the directing the actors and the pacing scene. I mean, I am saying that about a movie that had an unnecessary clown fantasy sequence in it. So it may be
a whole subplot.
I mean, I kind of want him to do the next Hulk and have like Clown Hulk throughout. I want to see Clown Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Clown Hulk.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, yeah.
mean,
I'm trying to figure out. I feel like I know why I liked this movie.
why is that?
I mean, I feel I explained it. It's just I like the mind heist, playing the game stuff, the tournament, and the dynamics. And I thought there was some good performances in it. Like, I think the jerk, the guy who cheats him at the beginning, I thought he was really good.
That guy was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a great job. I think a lot of them did a good job.
Fatty Mang, yeah.
Fatty Mang did a good job.
Fatty Mang was good. And I mean, like, our lead guy was all right. It's just...
I liked his arc. Again, I liked his arc within the animal world. Because what we didn't mention this is that basically he steals the dime. When he's in the spa, the Oregon death spa. Death Spa is also a great movie. When he's in there, he steals the diamonds off the guy so that his buddies pay to have him taken out. Mm-hmm. And then he goes and beats the shit out of Fatty Mang.
He sure does.
Takes the 3 stars that was supposed to...
annihilates Fatty Mang.
Yeah. He takes the 3 stars that's supposed to be to get him out. Right. And he goes back and he frees an old man who he met.
Right. This guy was just begging him. It's like, oh, please call my son and let him know that I tried my best and couldn't get the money that we needed to pay for his medication.
Right. And that pays off the arc of, turning down the money to save a human, but also they establish that the main character, whose dad died when he was young, turns out his dad was put in the exact same situation as this old guy is.
Yes.
So it completes that arc too, where he's just like, your son doesn't need the cheaper medication, he needs you, and he frees him. Yeah. And then everybody else can get fucked. I would have felt really shitty if I mean, I get, like, you can't save everybody, but, like, and when it felt like you said, like, he saves almost everybody because he figures out how to, like, kind of work with everybody to make
basically to game the system.
Right, which that's what it is. It's this situation where if everybody worked together, they could do that from the start. Everybody could get together and be like, "Hey, fuck this. Let's all work together." Yeah. But this is why I like the design of the game, because they make it so that they're all in debt. So if they do that, then they leave in debt. But they make a system where that if they have more stars than they came with, then they can sell those and make a bunch of money.
Yes.
So everybody is driven by that greed. Yeah. To fuck each other over. Mm-hmm. So it's like playing the game Rust. or Red Dead, where it's like, man, if we all work together, things would be so much easier. But then there's just those people who are like, yeah, but I could kill you and take your stuff, and that's easier.
And then it would be my stuff.
Yeah, and then I have the stuff, and then I don't have to worry about you.
Now all the candy is mother's.
Yeah. So again, I really like that. I like them calling it Animal World, having the tiger there, having a system in place that makes people turn on each other when, like, they could unify at any second, but their greed takes them over. Like, that's all a great idea.
He's helping them count the cards. There's a tally at the top that's keeping track of how many rock, paper, and scissors cards there are left. So it's like it's right in front of them where they could just be like, look, we could figure this out mathematically and not a single one of us has to lose.
Right. And it also creates a system where the way people take advantage of each other, like, you can't really just beat someone up and take their shit. That didn't seem to be an option, at least. I
guess not.
It didn't seem that way, yeah. That was the one thing I was like, no one's doing that. And they probably could have added something with that, but what I liked is that it meant that there was either like brutality or cooperation it was all mental. It was manipulation. It was social brutality against each other to get what you want, or extortion or greed. It was all like emotional, versus Battle Royale, where it's people just literally fighting each other. And that's what I really liked, is that it was like watching this Battle Royale, but it's all social. It's social, or it's math. Or it's intelligence, Yeah. And it's about these people trying to get ahead, using those things, teaming up, like forming tribes, trying to show, choosing to show compassion or not. And like that dynamic to me that's the stuff I loved. And all around something as stupid as rock, paper, scissors, where it's like, but again, the rock, paper, scissors is like the physical violence. Like, it's the things smashing each other. It's the things breaking each other.
Yeah.
And so, like...
yeah, I guess so.
There's a lot to that, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That this movie kind of squanders with the clown stuff.
With a lot of things. Like, I mean, you enjoyed it, but for me, it's like this movie is just not rewarding to watch. Like, it's like it's over. I'm just like, okay, that what's the point of that?
Right. Well, it didn't do a good enough job saying the point. Like, I think there was a point in there. I just don't think that they spent too much time on bullshit.
Yeah, they sure did.
And I think that like I think they could have gotten a lot more out of just that whole dynamic. But they wanted to show a clown fighting people on the subway. I mean, that must have cost money too. I don't know what the budget of this thing is.
I mean, the movie did not look cheap.
No, it didn't. It looked good. It looked like a big budget film.
Yeah.
Did they think audiences wouldn't go for the more simple premise? I don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah, I don't know why you would make a big budget movie about counting cards. It's very strange. Every decision about this movie is odd.
Well, I could see the budget going to the location, to the dystopian location, because I do think that the casino look, the tiger, the boat, like that all plays into like the idea of this battle royale where people are fucking each other over. Casinos being like, a place of kind of, where big highs and low lows. Like the look of the film, I didn't mind. It was just whenever it deviated into those action sequences, which probably cost a fortune.
Yeah.
This could have, they could have brought down their budget considerably. They could have still had that casino look without it costing whatever the hell it cost, which I'm not even going to look up.
I'm not even going to look.
No, they could have used that money to make everybody Michael Douglas. Just they could have brought Michael Douglas in and be like, okay, you're reading these lines, now read these lines, now read these lines, and just cut it so that it's Michael Douglas having scenes with himself.
Every single character is Michael Douglas. I feel like more movies could do that.
Yeah, MD. We need more MD.
I mean, more Mickey D.
Mickey D.
Mickey
D. Extorting people on a boat. Dystopian boat lord Mickey D.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, again, I get why you don't like this. I get why people wouldn't like it. But I just, there was something in it that spoke to me that I was able to kind of suck the marrow from it. Because I thought it was delicious marrow in there.
This delicious marrow cost somewhere between 28 to 43 million.
Oh, not bad. That's still probably too much, but...
And it was the #1 film in China when it was released. It dethroned Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Right. Okay, so here's the thing, is that Chinese audiences, they aren't dumb, but, like, they love the Marvel shit. I guess so do we. I guess it isn't Chinese audience, it's just all audiences. So they must have been like, we need something to make these dummies come and watch this movie. We got to do our own Hunger Games. And then they were like, well, this is just counting cards. There's no action here. And someone was like, just add action. Just have them, these kids, they like fucking clowns and stuff, and they're fighting.
Yeah, throw a praying mantis in there.
Yeah, have like a clown fight an alien. We're good. And then they did. Maybe that was it. I don't know. I haven't looked up if it's based off of anything either.
I believe it is. Let me see.
Because that would explain a lot why it would be #1 as well if it's like a well-known property overseas.
It is based on the manga Kaiji.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe it's just a big thing overseas, and like
maybe.
Because I don't think this is any dumber than the Hunger Games, which also did very well.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say this is better than the Hunger Games.
This is equally as dumb as every movie that tries to do something like this.
Yeah, or the Maze Runners. So I imagine if people from overseas are watching us love to eat up those Maze Runners, they'd be like, what is this garbage?
Yeah. This divergent bullshit.
Yeah, and we're like, it's based on a book. Who gives a shit?
That means it's good.
It was good. That's what we say.
It does.
Remember that they did The Giver?
I do. I do remember The Giver.
They didn't have to do The Giver.
They really did. They certainly didn't have to do it the way that they did.
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember the book
definitely
being good.
Right, and it's not The Hunger Games, but they tried to make it The Hunger Games.
They're like, let's make an action
what are
Giver.
you doing?
Yeah. Well, because that was... God, I'm so glad that fad is over. The young adult dystopian stuff. That was a real bummer. That was some garbage.
Yeah, that was some real bullshit.
Yeah. But, I don't know. This is kind of has the remnants of that, and maybe that's what they were trying to play off of. But,
yeah,
I mean,
man.
I don't know, you guys, the people listening to this. Like, I'm not... For the record, this isn't Dave thinks it's amazing, Tom thinks it's terrible. Dave does not think this is an amazing movie. But I just found something in this movie that I really liked, and I wish they made like a better movie using that stuff. So I sort of recommend it, but I can't guarantee you would like it. And in fact, there's a great chance you won't like it.
There is an enormous chance that you will not enjoy this film, but maybe you will. I don't know.
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry I can't give you more. I think that's all I have to say about this. Tom, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I'm through speaking about this film.
Okay.
I think we've said enough. I think we've covered all the important things.
I would like to thank Andrew Maguire for bringing this movie to us. Tom might have a different opinion on that.
He might.
But we talked about this on Hypecast, and I've just been meaning to get around to it. But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to us ramble about whatever this movie was.
Yeah, Animal World.
Animal World.
Everybody watch it. Best movie ever. If you want to make us watch things, we have a patron tier for it. We also have various other patron tiers at our Patreon, which is patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We got exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. So you might want to check that shit out.
You definitely should. What else do we got? We got a store, tpublic.com/stores/gamefullyunemployed, where you can check out a bunch of sweet merch.
Yeah, we got good merch on there.
Some piping hot merch.
Piping hot.
So you can check that out.
All the fucking merch. You could also, I don't know. You could do the thing where you fucking leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you feel like it. If you don't, that's fine too.
Yeah. I mean, but if you do, then do.
Yeah. I mean, it's up to you. This is a crazy world. I would absolutely sell all of your organs for millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Probably.
I wouldn't even pretend to have a crisis of conscience about it.
No, I'd probably do it for like $25, frankly.
I would be embarrassed for you if you didn't see it coming, honestly.
Yeah. That's a hot meal. I'd do it for you know what?
That's a you problem.
Someone gives me Chipotle, like a nice Chipotle burrito.
Yeah.
I'll give away your organs.
I feel like I kind of would sell somebody else's kidney for some Chipotle. It's not, I don't need it. What do I need your kidney for?
Exactly. You can't eat a kidney.
I don't. That's what.